guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we're going to be checking out the latest retro style Masters of the Universe action figures from the folks over at Super7. And this is our really strange batch of funny colored action figures. So what we've got in this particular wave, or this half wave, or whatever you want to call it, we've got Krystal Man At Arms, which is a crystal statue of Man at Arms. We've got Gold Statue HeMan, which is a gold statue of HeMan. That seems a little redundant. And then we've got Frozen Tila, the ice statue of Tila. So essentially what we've got here are just the exact same sculpts for Man at Arms, HeMan, and Tila, but molded in these different solid color plastics, or you know what I mean. They're basically unpainted. You know, just a crystal clear plastic, a gold plastic, and then a translucent blue plastic. Now, all of these do have basis in the Filmation HeMan and the Masters of the Universe cartoon series. In fact, if we turn around the figures to the backside, which by the way, of course, these are those retro-inspired packages we've seen for all of their classic figures, which is really, really great. But one of the things I like about this is they do have images at the top from the various episodes that these particular variations are based upon. So up here at the top, we can see that image of HeMan turned into a golden statue from the episode The Shaping Staff, where HeMan is turned into a gold statue by Evelyn and her magical shaping staff. If we look at the back of Tila's packaging, you can see we've got this image from the animated series up here that says Tila is flash frozen into an ice statue by the evil Icer and his freezing touch. This, of course, from the episode The Iceman Cometh. And then from the episode The Dragon's Gift, if we look at Man at Arms here, you can see we've got this image from the animated series that says Tila is horrified that Skeletor has turned the heroic Man at Arms into a crystal statue. So I do like that they went that extra step by including those screenshots from the episodes that these are based upon. Why don't we go ahead and rip these open and take a closer look at the action figures themselves. All right, here we go. We've got our wacky colored figures outside of the packaging. Of course, it's the vintage line. So these are your 5.5 inch action figures there. And they do just utilize those exact same molds we saw already for the Filmation versions of HeMan, Tila, and Man at Arms. Also, just like with those other releases, each of the figures do come with these faux mini comics, which are basically just art cards that are packaged behind the figures. They look great in the packaging because it does look like the mini comics from the vintage line, but we've got this great artwork by illustrators Emiliano Santalucia for all three characters of HeMan, Tila, and Man at Arms, exactly the same as what we saw before. And then the backs have those really cool From Toy to Tune images. I talked about these more in all of their respective reviews for the original releases. It would have been cool if these were a little more episode specific to match the actual figures that we're getting, but it's always cool to get those little art cards in the packaging. So let's talk about the figures themselves. Let's go ahead and move HeMan off to the side. We will start with Krystal Man At Arms, because, I don't know, I really like this. I gotta say, the plastic on these feels really, really good. Like, it's nice and sturdy. It doesn't feel brittle. I know that there's always a worry when you use translucent plastics on if the joints are gonna break, so hopefully we don't have those problems. Moving and bending the figures around right now, they feel fine. I don't feel like I'm gonna have those problems. In fact, the joints at the arms and the head specifically feel really good on this guy. I know there have been issues in the past with the hinge joints there at the hips. They seem okay on this particular figure so far, and they do also feature that spring-loaded power punch in the waist, and it works really good. Look at that. Works super good on Man at Arms here. In fact, since he's got that crystal clear body, look, you can see the spring inside. How fun is that? I don't know. I love that sort of stuff. I'm a geek for translucent toys. I've always had a thing for them. I'm really impressed with just how crystal clear the plastic is on Man at Arms. I mean, specifically, you can see in the legs and the arms and that head sculpt there. It's really pretty amazing. All of the accessories are more of like this frosted clear plastic, and that's because they have to be a little bit more flexible. So you can see that the armor pieces that he's wearing is a little more frosted, as is the mace or his club accessory. So we can pop that in his hand. He holds onto it just fine. You can see that that is a little pliable there at the handle, but that's why it's made of that kind of more frosted look. And I talked about this when these were first released. One of the things I find kind of funny is that they went ahead and painted the details on his face, because he was just like a crystal statue in the show, so he was all the same color. They decided that they needed to paint the mustache, which is kind of hilarious, but also the eyebrows and the eyes. Now, I will say they're not near as vibrant black. Like they were a real deep black in the original press photos. This is much more of a subtle gray or almost silver, and I don't know if that's coming across in the video, but it definitely is. It's not like as deep black as I thought it would. So, I don't know, doesn't bother me too bad. But all in all, I think the figure looks and feels really great. Of course, aside from the club, he does come with that same ray gun that we got before, but just like with that one, it's a two-handed weapon, and he can't really hold it two-handed, but he's got it, so that's cool. He just came with the exact same accessories as before. There we go, get it holding to one hand there. Yep, so you've got that for your Krystal Man at Arms. All right, let's bring it on over to Tila. So again, same mold as before, which means the legs are a little wonky just like before. The way that her feet are sculpted, you almost have to turn her right leg sideways like that in order to get her to stand flat-footed. But once you do that, she stands up just fine. Just like Man at Arms, the plastic feels exactly the same as Man at Arms, and it feels nice and solid. There's the hinge joints there. You can see that they're moving around. They're working pretty good at the hips. I'm not having any issues with them. In fact, let's be a little rough with them here. Just to see. Yeah, it seems like it's working pretty good. So she feels good and solid. Doesn't feel like there's gonna be any issues with the plastic. You got the same thing. You got the spring-loaded power punch there. Doesn't work as great on her. There you go. Boom, boom, boom. And again, you can see the spring right there. You see that in the back? That's just so much fun. So they did the exact same thing with her. They painted the eyes and the eyelashes and the mouth white. Again, I guess they just wanted to add some detailing to the face itself so it stands out. But this is just supposed to be a frozen Statue Teela. And even though she did not have them in the scene in the show, much like Man at Arms, she does come with her accessories. Again, same accessories we saw with the standard Tila release. We've got the shield and the sword. The shield looks a little imperfect on mine. It's just got some mold lines on it. I don't know if you can see that in there. That happens sometimes, especially with the clear plastics. It's not too bad, but it does got the same kind of pliable clip there on the back. It's not brittle, which is good. It's nice and pliable. Clips on nice and solid to the wrist. So now we can arm up our frozen Tila statue if we want to, with a frozen sword and a frozen shield. But yeah, she looks pretty great. So last, but certainly not least, we've got our golden statue HeMan, changed by the shaping staff. Same mold as before with our basic HeMan release, but this time he is painted a shiny gold in color, or maybe he's molded. I don't know, he kind of looks like he's painted. Could be gold plastic. So they definitely did the same thing where they painted the eyebrows and the eyes black, so it gives them some detail there, but the joints are super tight on this guy. He feels really good. Everything about him feels nice and solid. He's got the spring-loaded power punch, and the legs, they're flexing around. I will say that they're a little frozen. It looks like at the hinges, working a little bit there. So maybe that is painted. It does look like this is painted gold. So you can kind of see it there in the hinge joints. It's a little frozen, but you can see flexing around, feels pretty good. He's sturdy, he stands pretty nicely, so that's really great. And he comes with the exact same accessories as before. So we've got a nice golden version of the power sword, which is actually pretty awesome. We've also got a gold half power sword. So I guess if you want a gold half to attach to Skeletor's half, you've got that option now. And then we've also got the shield, which is the same as before. Goodness, HeMan, stand up. I am trying to show you off to everybody here, and you just keep toppling over. All right, there we go. HeMan's up, maybe. HeMan's up. Okay, so the shield, exactly the same as before, and I wanted to talk about that because I know I had this problem, and I know other people have had the problem where the shield just kind of falls apart, like it just pops off the pegs, and I will say that this one feels a lot stronger. I don't know if they glued it better this time. You can see it kind of pops up right there, but like I can't pull it apart this time. It's not just like falling apart, so that is really, really good. And then we can, of course, slide that over his fingers, and you can attach it to his wrist, and just like that, you now have a golden statue HeMan holding on to the power sword and the shield. He does look really cool. The gold paint looks nice. He pops. He's shiny. But I gotta say, could you imagine if they would have done this figure all in vac metal? Like the same gold vac metal we saw on Hero's torso? Oh my goodness. Like, I understand vac metal always has a risk of flaking, especially on articulated parts, but good lord, would this guy have looked so incredibly amazing if he was a real, true metallic vac metal gold. That would have really made this guy feel so much more special than he is. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at Gold Statue HeMan from the Shaping Staff, Ice Statue Teela from the Iceman Cometh, and Krystal Man At Arms from the Dragon's Gift. These are just simple recolors, essentially, of standard releases. I think that's technically a first for Masters of the Universe. Like, I know that Masters of the Universe is based on reusing parts between figures, and we definitely got a recolored figure with a He-Man turned blue that they named Faker, but as far as giving us these same characters just with a full-on, like, it's very indie toy scene, right? Kind of casting these guys in different colors. So this is definitely a first for Masters of the Universe. As far as the vintage toys go, this isn't gonna be for everybody. Like, just straight up, it's not. Not everybody's gonna like this sort of thing. I think they are fun. I've always had a thing for translucent toys, so I do dig these, but I totally understand how these aren't gonna be everybody's cup of tea. As it is, these are shipping right now. I bought mine from Big Bad Toy Store, so I will link to them in the video description for anybody out there who is interested in adding them to their collections. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, leave me a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, my friends.